hear about this particular product, the supplement that is just a miraculous product out there. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first guest, Dr. Steve Freeman, who is very, very knowledgeable about the product, as well as he has a great history of nutrition and health.
Yeah.
So, Steve?
And he may also give you a testimony about himself and the use of it.
Yes. So, Steve?
Yes.
You can take it from here. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
Thank you for inviting me to be on with the Hollow Earth Network. I count this a real privilege. And I appreciate all of you that have dialed in here that are going to listen to what I share about this evening. So, first of all, I would like to start out with a personal testimony, a family testimony, and then I'd like to share some testimonies of other folks that I've been working with here since August 1st when I got involved with this product. And I think you will then understand the tremendous dimensions and the broad spectrum that this product works in. Okay? Share with you my own testimony. My wife was struck by a gas station snowplow about 13 years ago. And when she was struck, she suffered tremendously in her upper neck and upper back area. And she has 2 discs. One of them is pushing a full inch, according to the MRI, into her spinal cord. So I've lived with a woman who for 13 years has suffered tremendous debilitating pain. And because we are a natural family, I've been involved for 33 years in health and nutrition, naturally I turn to natural, herbal, and other natural supplements. And I could not find any product that worked effectively.
Call me whenever you're free. Bye.
I tried Boswellia, arnica, cetyl myristoyl, turmeric, chondroitin, glucosamine sulfate. I tried mangosteen. I tried everything that we could find to give to my wife. And at best, the ones that did a little something were like a 2 to 3 foot leap over a 10-foot ditch. They just did not cut the mustard. So what I encountered when a good friend of mine, Carl Humphrey from Texas, called me was a great deal of skepticism when he shared with me how this product could take care of inflammation and pain. So he very wisely, this was back in July last summer, he very wisely sent me a couple of boxes, and this was a Sunday when he called me. I received them overnight Tuesday, and that morning I woke up with a headache. Now, being in the health and nutrition field and being a leader in this area, I have received a lot of different products and tried many different products over the years. And I've got to tell you that most of these products do not affect me. The only products that I really sense any difference are the ones that have some sort of a speed element. The caffeine family, the guaranas, the Mawang, ephedra type products. And I don't really like the effect of those products. Some people do, but I personally don't. But I do sense a difference. I do know I'm taking a product that's affecting me. And this particular product, when I got it, I had a headache that morning, Tuesday morning. The FedEx truck arrived. I took it. Within half an hour, my headache was gone. So right from the get-go, I had a pretty good inkling that this was a powerful, different product than what I was used to. So my wife, she, within a week, was pain-free. And folks, I cannot tell you what a blessing that was to me, and what that did to me was make me totally committed. I'm so enthusiastic about this product, and I hope that many of you will become just as enthusiastic about this product. So the other area that it worked on in my family was myself. I was a pitcher through Little League right through high school. I played a lot of tennis, and that overhand action has left me with rotor cuff problems in my right shoulder. And I've not been able to sleep on my right side for many years. And after 3 days on the product, I was able to sleep, and since then I've been able to sleep on my right side. More recently, I'm 62 years old now. I'll be 63 this summer. And about 3 years ago, I started to experience frequency of urination in the evening. This affects quite a few males as they get older. And I was going about 3 to 5 times a night. It was extremely irritating. So I went to my family physician, who's a good friend of mine, and he gave me the wonderful exam and declared that I had BPH, or enlarged prostate. So he wanted to put me on a drug. I said, no thanks. I'll look for a natural supplement for that. And I took a tea that I'd recommend to anyone. It's called Bell's Easy Flow Prostate Tea for Men. It comes out of Canada. And I started drinking that tea, and lo and behold, it took care of that problem. But I went back, after 2 years on the tea, I went back a year ago, this past summer. He gave me the exam and said, Steve, I'm glad that you aren't experiencing the problems anymore, but I still would like to put you on a drug because you still have enlarged prostate. I once again declined, and then this past September, I went in again for a physical, and my doctor said, Steve, he said, brother, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because you have a normal-sized prostate. I was dumbfounded. I'd never heard anything regarding the Soul product that would do something like that, but as explained to the doctor, I said, Bruce, I'm still taking the tea, which obviously after 2 years did not shrink my prostate, but I've been taking this super natural anti-inflammatory. I explained to him what it was, and he said, Steve, that's got to be it, because enlarged prostate is an inflammation problem, and you've got a super anti-inflammatory, and that has got to be it. So, folks, I was dumbfounded, astonished, amazed, and all I can tell you is that this product will do some wonderful things for all of us. Now, the third area in my family, I've got a future daughter-in-law, my son's fiancée, and she has suffered with fibromyalgia for years. She's been on a very nasty drug called Celebrex, and if you know anything about that drug, it's got a mile long of warning labels. Lots of strokes and heart attacks have been attributed to that, but if you have need of a COX-2 inhibitor, there's not anything else that can replace that. So that's why people still take that drug. But anyway, after 3 weeks on Soul, she now is totally Celebrex free. And we've had a number of other women, it seems to affect more women than men, with fibromyalgia who've been able to get off their meds thanks to Soul and its super natural anti-inflammatory action. So, folks, this is something that got me very excited. I'm convinced. There's no one that can change my mind about Soul. I'd like to ask Tina to share at this time a little bit about what experience she's had with it, and then I'm going to share some more testimonies with you. Tina, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Perfect. All right. Well, when Steve called me and told me about this, and he really only said one thing that got my attention, that it's an anti-inflammatory that's 281 times more powerful than Bayer aspirin. At least the black seed ingredient in the product is 200. It was proven at the University of Maryland. And, you know, I also am interested in natural health, and following just all the articles about health, I knew right away that if it could reduce inflammation, it would help with health. So I thought, wow, this sounds like it's at least worth trying. And so this was also in the beginning of August, so I said, well, just ship me out the 4 boxes. And I started taking it, and the beginning of August is right when I'm blessed with really good health, but I do have this allergy problem that comes from hay fever every August and September. And, you know, when it starts coming, I have to go get all this allergy stuff because, I mean, even Benadryl doesn't help me get over it. It's really, really bad. And so I started taking it, and I was expecting to start taking my allergy medicine in another week or so. And, you know, I had a little bit of sneezing. I was already starting, my eyes were already itching. But what happened is that although it wasn't like 100% perfect, I never had to go on the allergy medication. And I really never really got any serious symptoms of allergy last fall when I usually am just dying. I mean, I can't even go outside. And so that got my attention, and I started hiking because I like to hike. And so I was hiking, which I usually can't do in the fall. And my husband and I go up this one hike that's uphill. And so I know we went, I had been taking it about a week. And so we started hiking up, and I felt great. So I just kept hiking. And when I got to the top of the hill, I turned around, and he was not even in sight. And I was like, wow, what happened to him? And pretty soon, he came up all huffing and puffing. And I was like, John, you ought to try this stuff. And so he hates taking pills. He cannot take pills. So since this isn't a pill, he said, all right, I'll try it out, And so he started taking it. And what I didn't know about him was that he had developed arthritis in his fingers. I guess he was embarrassed about it. He went to the doctor and never told me. And when he went to the doctor, they did these x-rays, and the nurse came out, and she said, geez, were you in a car wreck or something? And he was like, no, but he was worried about it, and they told him to take all this stuff, and he didn't want to take, like, Advil all day long and stuff. So he still had so much pain in his fingers that I didn't even know about. And so after about a week, he said, you know what? My pain is starting to go away. And it was pretty severe, I guess. And so it ended up being 6 weeks later. But in 6 weeks, all the pain in his fingers went away. And he has become such a happier person because of that, and is also hiking a lot faster. I think it could be something to do with the D-ribose in the product, but, I mean, we can really go hiking now together, and he's right up there, and, I mean, he's climbed all the 14,000-foot mountains here in Colorado when he was younger, so I'm so happy to see him back hiking like that again. So those are just two personal stories. There are lots more, but that's it. Steve, back to you.
Thank you, Tina. I'll share a few more just to give you an idea about what this product can do. There's in our group, there's a physical therapy practice owner. His name's Jed. And Jed's brother was the president of the bottling company in Utah that bottles Noni, the Mirinda Noni product, Monavi's product, Zangos. They do about 150,000 bottles per shift. So that's a lot of product they can move. And he never once represented any of those products, even though his brother would send him home with free cases of product, in his practice, because he's a very honest individual. And he said to me, Steve, I could not represent a product as being effective unless it worked on me. And he said, I didn't experience any difference. So he never did share that product with his practice. But when Byron Belka, the president of our company, called him and said, I'm going to bring this product from Asia and Europe to the United States in July, and I'd like you to come in and talk to me about it, he brought with him a business partner by the name of Brian Hazelgren. And Brian was on the BYU Championship 1984 football team. He was a tailback that was a punt return specialist. And if you know anything about American football, if you don't score a touchdown, you will definitely be smothered by the opposition. So he suffered 7 concussions. 3 of them left him temporarily blind. And he, in fact, watched the championship game in 1984 from a hospital room. He has suffered since 1984 every day with headaches and has taken 4 to 6 Excedrin extra strength. And when Byron that day, back in April, May, gave him the product, he then was relieved of headaches, and he's not had to take Excedrin since then. So that got Jed very, very excited about the product. And his first patient was a University of Utah religion professor. This professor had 2 bad knees. One was operated on. The surgeon declared it a total success and was trying to schedule the other knee. And the professor said, not so fast, I still have pain. So he went to Jed for therapy, and Jed put him on the product. This was his very first patient. Within 8 days, this professor, who could barely make it up the stairs in his own home, was now going upstairs completely pain-free. 2 weeks after that, Jed gets a text from him, and he's at Disneyland, and he says, thank you, Jed, and thank God you gave me this product. I just walked around the park all day with my family. And just recently, this professor went to Greece and spent 2 weeks walking around seeing all the historical sites there in Greece. This is a man that got his complete life back, and now he can be active with his family again. Another individual we have in our group, his name is Morgan, and he is a martial arts expert. He went from white to black belt 2 times in Japanese and Korean disciplines. Ever since he was 8, he has spent hours each day practicing martial arts. He was a master tournament fighter, had his own dojo, and about 10 years ago he started developing pain, especially in his legs. And 5 years ago he had to give up martial arts completely because he couldn't even practice anymore. And Morgan takes the product. He also could barely make it up the stairs. And within a week's time, he's bounding up and down the stairs. His mother came to visit him and saw him doing high kicks and doing all the things that he needed to do as a martial arts expert. And she broke down in tears because she knew what martial arts meant to him and also what pain he was in. And today, Morgan is back practicing martial arts. Another individual who got his life back. Let's talk about Ali. Ali, just before Christmas, he's in New York. Ali had male breast cancer, and he had an operation. He went through chemotherapy, and a good friend of mine, Russ Johnson, Dr. Johnson, called him up Christmas Day and found him barely able to speak, laying on his bed, just totally demolished health-wise. And I had spoken to Ali 2 months before, actually sent him some product, and he hadn't even opened the box. So Russ said to Ali, he says, man, he says, you've had the answer all along. You need to get that Rain product and take it now. And he got up off his bed, took the product, and within 24 hours, he was totally restored, full of energy, living life as normal. And this man now is completely committed to the Rain product, just totally sold out as to what this product can do for himself and others. I'd like to speak about a woman who presented herself to a good friend of mine, Dr. Brad Weeks. And Dr. Brad Weeks has put about 500 patients now on this product. He's so impressed with it. She presented herself with shingles, and she'd been suffering for 3 days, could hardly eat or sleep, and she said, Doc, this is driving me mad. Now, he'd never tried this whole product with shingles. So he said, you know, shingles, that herpes simplex, is a inflammation issue. Are you willing to try something? I don't know if it'll work, but let's try it. And she says, sure, I'll try anything. Before she left the office, he applied some on her shingles outbreak and gave her some to take internally, and she started to feel some relief. And the next morning she called back and said, Doc, I'm 90% better. And you that are on the line here, if you suffer from shingles or you know anyone that does, you know that that's a miracle. That does not happen with shingles. That is one nasty, very debilitating, painful condition. So this just gives you a little idea, you know, of what this can do. We've had people with lupus, tumors over in Asia. They've had it for 2 years now, and they have some wonderful stories. Tina and I and Jane and Billy were on a cruise together for Rain last week, and we heard from a lot of the Asians who have been blessed with this product for 2 years now, and they were telling us about hearing coming back, sight coming back, sense of smell, tumors, paralysis, people getting the use of their bodies back. Just some amazing walk-on-water type of testimonies. We also have had diabetes, blood sugar being normalized, particularly through the D-ribose and the black cumin activity in our product, blood pressure being normalized, mental problems being cleared up. This is a product that literally will penetrate the blood-brain barrier and go in and actively scrub out your brain. You see, the problem today for many people is that they're taking in the wrong type of oils. And your organs, your brain, for example, 60% fat. Your organs are 50 to 60% fat, your cells the same amount. And where do we store our toxins? When you have pesticides, you have mercury, you have all the various things that unknowingly we put in our bodies. Where are they stored? They're stored in the fat part of our organs and our cells. And this particular product, the black cumin seed especially, has a special rotor-rooter effect where it goes in and pushes out and extrudes the toxins and the bad oil out of our body. The best illustration I can give you is, let's say that we were fortunate enough to be able to buy a new Mercedes. We spent $80,000, drive off the lot smiling, and we keep on driving and driving and driving. We never change the oil in that wonderful German engineered machine. What would happen to that motor, to that engine? Well, you all know that the engine would seize and you'd have to buy a new motor. Why is that? Because that good oil that you started out with oxidized, it picked up contaminants, and it ceased to do its job effectively and lubricate that motor. And then the piston seize, and you have a ruined motor. Well, we have an amazing God-made body. A German engineered machine is a wonderful thing, but we have a body that we all have oil changes that need to take place. We all need a good old-fashioned oil change. And when you change the oil in a vehicle, you don't just change a quart or two. You change the whole thing in the filter too. All 5, 6, whatever your motor requires, you put that oil in. And that's why the first month on the product, we take a little more than we normally do for maintenance. And my wife, for example, it took 3 of these pouches per day for her to get complete relief. So you're just getting an oil change, and you now are flushing out toxins, you're pushing out the bad oil, and by doing so, you're reducing the inflammation. And another mechanical illustration is when your auto mechanic encounters a nut that's frozen onto a bolt, rusted on, what do they reach for? They reach for something called penetrating oil. And this is what our product is. It's a penetrating oil that will literally penetrate in and loosen up the joints and so on of our bodies and just get that area clean. So when you're using the product, if you have any type of pain, here's what I'm going to suggest that you do. It has transdermal properties so that it will go through the skin very effectively. It's a penetrating product, and it'll get into that joint. So if your knees are bothering you, for myself, I rub it on my shoulder, and it gets right in there, penetrates into that joint in my shoulder. Just apply it a little bit, not much, maybe no more than 5% of the product you apply to that area that's bothering you, and then ingest the rest. And when you're all done with the product, it comes in a 2-ounce flexible package. Cut the package open, because in the sides are going to be the husk, mostly of the black cumin seed, because that's our main ingredient. Over half the product is black cumin seed. But you'll want to cut that bag open and just lick out that wonderful husk and seed particles that are there. And I'm going to share with you in a minute here what is so important about that seed husk. Let's talk about the ingredients. Number 1 is we have black cumin seed. That's spelled C-U-M-I-N, black cumin seed. Black cumin seed has a wonderful history. Black cumin seed's mentioned in the Bible. It's in Isaiah 28. It's mentioned by Jesus in Matthew 23. And it was used extensively by Hippocrates, who was the father of modern medicine, and it was used by that great physician, Dioscorides. Dioscorides used it for everything from headaches to congestion to parasites. It was broadly used in his practice. Now, most of us have never heard of this black cumin seed. I certainly hadn't, and I know quite a bit about nutrition. So it came to me as a real surprise that this little gem had eluded me for all these years. But going back to the Egyptians, it was found in the tombs of the pharaohs. So this is one seed that the pharaohs would not be caught dead without. They didn't have tomato seed. They didn't have lettuce seed for the afterlife. What was so special about black cumin seed? They had to take that with them for the afterlife. So modern science now is showing us what's so important about the black cumin seed. And you can check, there's a website called pub, like a drinking pub, PUBMED.org, and that's the U.S. government site for all science. So if you want to check vitamin C or vitamin D or what have you, this is a wonderful resource for us to look and see what kind of studies have been done on this ingredient. So when you go to PubMed.org, look up kindly, if you would, black cumin, C-U-M-I-N. Then next, we have black raspberry, and that's spelled R-A-S-P-B-E-R-R-Y. And then we have Chardonnay grapeseed. Look up grapeseed. And then finally, look up D, the letter D as in dog, hyphen R-I-B-O-S-E. It's called D-ribose. And that comes from corn, again, a seed. So D-ribose has a lot of recent studies. In fact, there's a very recent hospital study where they took patients that were candidates for heart transplants, and they fed them a great deal of D-ribose, and those patients didn't need heart transplants anymore. So if you know anyone that's recovering from heart disease, they certainly need to be on this product. That D-ribose is amazing. It's a 5-carbon sugar, not a 6-carbon sugar like table sugar. And from that, we receive a lot of energy, a lot of healthful ingredients that work together with the black cumin seed. The black cumin seed is a magnifier. It is something that will make any product it's with perform better. Now, how did our product come to be? Well, there's a famous seed expert at the University of Minnesota by the name of Dr. Leonard. And he collaborated with Dr. Yu, the other famous seed expert. Both do a lot of consulting work with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA. So Dr. Y.U. is at the University of Maryland. And they were given a $6 million grant by a group very concerned about children with cancer on chemotherapy. So $6 million is quite a bit of money, wouldn't you say, to be able to work with to develop a seed-based product. Now, they could have developed a 50 seed-based product, a 4, 5, 10, whatever, but they came up with these 4 ingredients. They couldn't find any combination of seed better than these 4 seeds. So just rest assured that you have a wonderful product here that has gone through lots of hurdles to get to us today. Now, we have many ways that it's been corroborated and proven that this is a superior product. We have a Dr. Rose Fisher at out of St. Louis who does a lot of testing of products. And she uses something called an acupuncture meridian analysis test. What she does is she uses the 800 acupuncture points and tests products against those points. Now, most of the products that she tests come in at 10% coverage to 20%. That is from fair to good. Every once in a while, she finds a superior product that tests about 30%. She's never found a product that tests like Sol at 60%. 455 of those points were covered by this product. That blew her mind. She was completely amazed by that. But what really stunned her was she also does a frequency or a harmony test. When you have a product that has more than one ingredient, they'll harmonize in some areas, but in other areas they'll actually fight each other. Now, she overlaid our 4 ingredients and found that they were in perfect, absolute harmony. She likened it to a symphony where the wood and the strings, where they all play together in perfect harmony, make beautiful music. And she was so impressed last August that she flew on her own dime over to Utah to meet with our president, Byron Belka, just to inform him that she believes that he has received one of the greatest one of God's greatest gifts to mankind in this soul product. She was just completely amazed. And most recently, we were given a tremendous honor by Brunswick Labs. Brunswick Labs is the foremost testing lab for something called ORAC rating. And what ORAC rating is, it measures the antioxidant value and the free radical destructive power of any product. Now, we were not promoting our product really as a super antioxidant, but what Brunswick Labs informed us is that we have the top-rated free radical destroyer antioxidant product in the world today in liquid nutrition. Nothing comes close to what we have here. And they were so impressed with our product that they informed us that they would like the privilege of using our product as the gold standard or the benchmark, kind of like aspirin is the gold standard for inflammatories, and everything's measured against that. And as Tina pointed out, Dr. Yu at the University of Maryland compared black cumin seed to aspirin, and gram for gram, the black cumin seed was 281 times more effective at reducing inflammation than aspirin. Folks, that is completely amazing. That is off the charts amazing. And that's why my wife got such tremendous relief with this product, because it's a super natural anti-inflammatory. Anyway, so Brunswick Labs said we would like to use your product as the benchmark for our new 5.0 ORAC antioxidant testing. And what that means is that all the products that were tested up until now have been tested for one category of antioxidant free radical destructive power. So all the other ORAC ratings that you'll see are in one category, but there's 5 categories of free radicals. And our product is the only product thus far that has been tested for all 5 categories, and our product was stellar. No product has ever come with the kind of results that our product numbers show. So this is a broad-spectrum product. Every person on the planet, man, woman, and child, this is my belief, everyone, should be on this product. I use 7 boxes a month. All of my family members are on this product. And I'll stick myself with some sodium pentothal and tell you the truth. Some other companies that I've been with, because the products were quite expensive, I didn't have the belief level because they are more what I call faith-based products, nutrients. And you look at the science, you listen to the testimonies, but you don't feel it yourself. You're taking it by faith, hoping that long-term it'll do you good. These faith-based products, because of the expense, I didn't have my whole family on them. But this product, I am so blown away by what this product has done for so many people that I must have my children on it. You know, we've got Dr. Brown, his daughter, who's 15 years old. She does the extreme stretching, Pilates type of stretching. She's 15, not 65, and she says, Dad, I must have that product because I can stretch so much further. I'm so much more flexible with Soul than without it. So this is a product that even children should be on. Let's address the area of cancer. This is a concern for many people. Because just like free radicals, we all produce through oxidation free radicals in our body. And we all want and need a product that will take care of those free radicals so that they don't create that mischief in our bodies. But cancer is something that we all produce. It's part of the human condition. And this product has, especially in the black cumin seed, in the husk of the black cumin seed, there's something that stimulates P53. What is P53? It's an oncogene, O-N-C-O gene. And this oncogene is a powerful cancer suppressor. It's only in the husk. So some folks that I've talked to are taking the black seed oil, black cumin oil. It's not in the oil. It's only in the husk. Another thing that's not in the oil is CD14. What is CD14 and where does it come from? It comes from the flower or the meat of the seed. And CD14 is a very interesting ingredient. It's a stem cell conductor. Now, stem cells, I'm sure, that's a word that is on the cutting edge of medicine today. Many of you have heard of it. But stem cells are neutral. How they work is they stand at ready, kind of like the hard drive in your computer. You need an application like Windows to make the hard drive operate. You need an operating system. Well, for example, when you break a leg, what happens is the brain takes these neutral standing stem cells and sends a message, a programming, and says, you stem cells become bone, you stem cells become skin, you stem cells become muscle, and so on. And they go in like worker bees and literally clone themselves into the cells that you need for repair. So these are the worker bees. They're high profile for cancer. So cancer's big mission in life is to turn your cells, especially your stem cells, to the dark side, kind of like Star Wars and Darth Vader trying to shift forces over to the dark side. That is what causes metastasizing in the body of cancer. So it's that spreading and recruitment process that we want to avoid. We can't avoid the creation of cancer cells, but we can keep them from spreading and recruiting, okay? So we want to have CD14 in there in our systems because CD14 is a conductor of stem cells for the good side. It keeps the cells from switching sides and going dark. Because when they go dark, then they become viral recruiters, bringing other good cells over to the dark side. That's the process we need to stop, okay? Also in the black cumin is thymoquinone, TQ for short, and that is in the oil as well as the whole seed. So that is in the oil, but that also is a powerful cancer suppressor and also an anti-inflammatory. So inflammation is something that also is part of the human condition, and we all have it. Some people don't feel pain yet, but I tell them, hey, count your blessings. You haven't lived long enough yet. It's coming. The pain is coming. How would you like to keep it at bay? By taking a super anti-inflammatory. And this is the product that keeps that inflammation basis down. Inflammation causes cancer, causes heart attacks and strokes, causes all sorts of arthritis, all sorts of things that go wrong in our body are inflammatory processes. And we want each day to have a super anti-inflammatory. So with all the cancer-fighting properties and the anti-inflammatory properties, and then the basis of nutrition that is in the product. In each package of Soul, each 2-ounce package, we have the essentials of life, what we need for life. We need 12 vitamins. Well, guess what? 12 vitamins are in our product. We need 17 essential minerals. Now let's spend a minute here on essential minerals. Modern farming practices, we are supposed to let in the Old Testament, the Israelites were told that they needed to rest the ground periodically. And even an organic boutique farmer with 50 or 100 acres, can they afford to not farm for a year? Of course not. So what do farmers do? How they fool Mother Nature is they put fertilizer in the ground. What is fertilizer? Well, it's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. 3 ingredients. That's fertilizer. But where's the cobalt? Where's the boron? Where's the chromium? Where's the essential minerals that we need for our cells? Well, if they're not in the ground, which most vegetables that we're eating are deficient now, 90% of Americans are deficient in essential minerals. So these minerals, if they're not in the ground, the fruit or vegetable does not create them. They take in the trace minerals from the ground through the root system. If it's not in the ground, it's not in what you're eating. So we need to supplement with trace minerals. And our product has the 17 essential minerals that we need for life. It also has 9 essential amino acids, okay? And then, last but not least, it's got the essential fatty acids, 3, 6, and 9, and heavily weighted towards the 3 and the 9. And this is the wonderful component that I believe is doing a lot of good for people, getting those good sourced seed-based oils. Most people that supplement for the omega-3, 6, and 9, the essential fatty acids, are getting them from the sea, from fish. So what kind of environment are fish in today? Well, let me see. We've got Fukushima. We've found a lot of radiation now in Pacific seafood. It's washing up on the shores of California. They're reading it with Geiger counters at unsafe levels over there. We've got oil spills like BP. We've got China dumping 24/7 industrial waste in the water. We have lots of problems going on with the mercury and whatnot in the sea. I would much rather get a higher grade of oil from organic seeds myself. So I no longer take fish oil supplements. I take only the sole, because you're getting 3 servings of essential fatty acids. It's like eating 3 servings of fish without the contaminants each day. Morning, noon, and evening, you're getting your 3 servings of fish. Also, you're getting 8 to 10 servings, the equivalent of fruit, 8 to 10 servings of vegetables. Now, I am not getting that much fruit and vegetables in my daily diet, and I doubt if anyone else on this call this evening is getting that much either. So that is another great reason for taking this product. Then we have fiber. This is another area that most humans are deficient in because of modern refining processes. Take, for example, 1 slice of bread. That has 1 gram of fiber in it, where whole wheat, whole grain bread has 2 to 3 times the amount of fiber. Most people are eating refined foods. They're not getting the required 25 to 30 grams of fiber each and every day. Guess what? That little packet of Sol has 4.9 grams of fiber. A bowl of oatmeal, to put it in perspective, is 4 grams of fiber. Isn't that amazing? So each little packet you take is like eating a whole bowl of oatmeal. Yum, yum. So we have so many wonderful characteristics that we haven't even discovered yet. As I tell many folks now that I talk about this product with, I'm amazed, but I'm no longer surprised at what this product can do. So you that are on this call tonight are very privileged to hear about this product. I think that it is something that is essential. It should be a baseline foundation for health. If you're supplementing, if you're someone who's just looking for one thing to take, this should be your baseline product. This should be your like 1-a-day vitamin. This can replace many things that you're not taking or are presently taking, all in this one package. We have an ORAC rating, antioxidant valuation in each package of about 9,000. So that is the nearest competitor on 32 ounces is 114,000. They've been the reigning champ for 3 years, and we just dethroned them very, very aggressively, very smartly. We have 144,000 for the same 32 ounces. And this was not even an area of focus for our company, but it is a fact. So I'd like to open up the line here and see if there's any questions about what we've discussed here. Well, just before I do that, I want to share that this company does something that's very interesting, very unique. They don't advertise. You won't see $4 million Super Bowl ads with this company. What they do is they take 50 cents out of every dollar, and they give the money back to us for sharing this product with others. This is not something any of us have to do, but if you would like to have what I call a home-based referral business and share this with others, the company has a very generous way of compensating. And if you folks would like to hear more about that, we can do that at another time and discuss, how we can have a home-based business. I started August 1st, and I've got about 2,500 people that are in my referral group, and it's a very, very generous compensation plan that they share with us all. But it's not necessary. It's not required. But when you do purchase a box or so of the product, you have a choice of being a customer, or you can become a brand partner distributor. And I would suggest that you become a brand partner distributor because customers do not get referral fees. And just by referring 4 other customers as a brand partner distributor, you can get your product for free. So that's just a little something that we'll discuss in more detail with the folks. I don't want to take up people's time tonight who aren't interested in that sort of thing. But if you are interested in it, then request that of Billy and Jane, and we'll do another call and discuss how we can have a home-based business with this. So Jane or Billy or Tina, is there anything else that you'd like me to address this evening before we open up the line?
Well, I just wanted to say, Steve, you did a fabulous job covering everything. But there's one thing that's really important to me that I wanted to mention, because I look at things energetically, and when I think about a seed, like when I think of an apple seed, I think of like Johnny Appleseed. And when he used to travel along the trails, planting these tiny little seeds. But the energy, the life force energy that exists in a seed allowed those little seeds to grow up into trees that continue to provide nourishment for us on Earth. So when I think about this product, I think about the seeds and the life force energy that's in each one of the seeds. And then the way the company prepares them, they're so careful and responsible. They grind them up and they immediately package them into these little packages so that the oils are fresh, because that's what we're missing. I mean, even a bottle of olive oil that is virgin, first cold-pressed organic olive oil, the second you unscrew the top, it starts to go rancid, and that is not good for our bodies. So, this is the pure oil, and the company is so responsible the way they prepare it. And so those are just 2 little things that came to mind I want you guys to know about. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Tina. That was actually something I wanted to cover, and I'll spend a minute on that. We have a patented process whereby we were given the rights to this 4-seed combination, but then we took our patented process, which we take the oil and we separate it from what we call the nutriflower, the husk and the flower, and then we put it back together in a patented way whereby we make it completely bioavailable to the body. And if you look at seed, take wheat, for example. In our modern refining, you would have to buy 3 different products to get all the goodness of a wheat seed. You'd have to buy the flour, then you'd have to buy the bran, then you'd have to buy the wheat germ. Now you have all the ingredients of the seed. We take the whole seed, we cold press it, and then we grind it and separate it, and we then give you all the wholeness. This is a whole food product. This is food. This is plant nutrition, plant medicine. It's not just another supplement. This is food. We're taking food. And when you look at seed, seed is the origin of life. When I shared this with Dr. Weeks, Dr. Weeks, by the way, is a natural MD, and he's also a psychologist. He's a very gifted individual. And he said, Steve, he said, you know, you're not supposed to put all your eggs in one basket. But Mother Nature, God, whatever you call it, put all the eggs in one basket. That's in seeds. Without seeds, there's no life of any kind. Isn't that amazing? It's all in the seed. And Jesus in John 12 said that except a grain of wheat, which is wheat seed, fall into the ground and die, it will not bring forth much seed, much grain. So what we have is we have magic. We have resurrection power in seed. When you look at an acorn, in that acorn is programmed what? An oak tree, a mighty oak tree. But that acorn has to die, give its life first, before all the DNA, all the RNA, everything that is needed for that tree to grow, before that process can take place, magic has to happen. Death and then life. And then thousands, literally thousands of acorns over the years can be produced. So we want that power. We want that resurrection power in our lives of seed. And I've never seen a company before come out and capture the essence of a plant like this company. No one else has gone to the seed. And the seed has 20 to 30 times the potency of the fruit or vegetable it comes from. Take an apple, core it, and plant the meat of an apple in the ground. What will happen? Nothing. All you're doing is composting. Take the core and put it in the ground. What do you have? You have apple trees. Okay? And nature has made the seed to be protected. It's bitter. It's if you swallow a whole seed, like take flaxseed, if you take whole flaxseed, it will be in your bowel movement later on in the week. You have to grind that flaxseed to get the use of it. Okay? And, for example, a bear in nature, when it's eating berries, it becomes a little Johnny Appleseed, like Tina talked about. It will then, as it digests and defecates, it will be planting berries everywhere it goes. So that's all part of the process of life, and we are taking and harnessing that wonderful energy, the resurrection power, the magic and mystery that's in seeds in the soul product. Thank you, Tina.
Perfect.